say I put any more into it. I usually put pretty much everything I got into starts, but I will say that I spent a fair amount of time working mentally, just talking myself into I'm trying to forget that I haven't pitched in weeks. I'm just trying to talk myself into it's going to be just normal. Expecting for me to really go out and believe something, I have to spend a fair amount of time uh, kind of branding that in over and over into myself. And so this whole week is this whole week has been about every practice throw, every bullpen session I had two bullpen sessions that really helped me, but each pitch was all about expecting it to be great, and not falling victim to excuses. The team that I was playing with today and the team I was playing against cares nothing about how long we've been out or whatever. That my team needed me to be great, and the other team, they were smelling blood probably, so I needed to make good pitches.
Adam, can you describe the difference between yesterday for you and what a day before a start would normally be like? I mean, trying to insert like a 5-hour drive into what normally would be prep and scouting.
Yeah, it was very similar to my summer baseball days back in the day. I was thinking that maybe mom would pop around the corner with some orange slices and a Capri Sun to alleviate some to give you some sugar between games. But the drive itself, I love farming. It's just amazing that there's not a bigger highway that goes from St. Louis to Chicago. It's, a little 2-lane road through the cornfields. I was really kind of blown away by that, but also very appreciative of all those farmers working hard so that we can do all kinds of cool things and feed our cattle and feed ourselves and all that. So, there's a lot of people working hard in between here and there, but crazy that there's not a bigger road that leads from St. Louis to here. It was interesting. You just got to do what you got to do. I mean, at this point, it's kind of you almost laugh at everything that you have to do. It's just sign of the times. We're in a weird phase right now. We just got to do what we got to do. So everybody had a great attitude about it. Honestly, when we heard that, we might have to rent cars and drive up here, everybody was like, hey, you know what? We hadn't played in weeks. We're ready to play. We want to do it. Let's go drive.
What was that reunion like of the team today? Were you able to, I know you have a start to make, but were you able to drink any of that in, seeing teammates like that for the first time in more than a week?
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot more loose for me. I think there's some learning moments for me here now because usually you don't talk to me, you don't go near me on start day, you don't even sit next to me or anything. And today we showed up like an hour and a half before the game, and an hour before the game I was having a conversation with Dexter Fallon or a couple other teammates and just thinking, this is the first time I've ever in my career in the big leagues just had a normal conversation with a guy, an hour before the game. And Johnny Gant looks at me and goes, might make you a little bit loose and, feel good about it. So he was right. I went out there. I was very confident. I knew I was prepared. I spent a good amount of time looking at these hitters in the hotel last night and today. So I was ready. I mean, I had to go out and execute pitches. It all comes down to execution at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how long you've been off.
Hey, Adam, can you describe kind of the difference between how normal everything probably seemed for you, pitching in August, sunny day, major leagues, and then how it was kind of not normal? Yadier is gone because he's battling COVID-19, only a 7-inning game, things like that.
Yeah, the 7-inning game, that has been a minute since I did that. That was 2005 was the last time I experienced a 7-inning baseball game that wasn't rain shortened. But again, we're probably, actually, if you went around and polled the audience, everybody's very thankful for these 7-inning contests with how many games we're fixing to have to play in only a short amount of time. So 9-inning games, even though it sounds like it's a big difference for the rest of the year. So 7 innings was weird, but also very appreciated. I think on a normal day, I'm hopefully going to be able to, get the opportunity to go 6 or 7 there and finish that game. I was I was hoping to do that, but you know, I understand. What are you talking about, Jimmy? You knucklehead. Uh, I understand when we haven't played in weeks. I understand. You know, 5 innings was probably as much or more than he wanted me to go in the first place.
But did you kind of feel, just if I can follow up, just the idea of like, did you feel like it was regular baseball out there? But then did you catch yourself being like, there's a lot of differences out here?
Yeah, it's honestly, I never, except for, you know, in really big moments where I'm absorbing as much of the crowd noise as I can. I never in my career have ever found my wife in the stands one time when I was playing baseball. You know, I'm very, very tunnel focused towards the catcher. Um, I never see the crowd. You know, when I'm pitching, I never see the crowd. I feel them, uh, and I need them in those big moments. You know, the last game I pitched at home, I had bases loaded, and I struck a guy out to make it to go to 2 outs. And normally the crowd would go nuts right there, and nothing happened. And that was the first moment that I realized there was no fans in the stands. So a lot of things are different, but for me, when I step onto the mound, everything feels still at the end of the day, it's still a one-on-one competition.
Yeah, this is actually kind of feels refreshing to just ask a straight up baseball question. With Kisner behind the plate, did you guys decide on kind of pitch sequences beforehand? Is that why he sometimes didn't give signs? Is that, I know this is bordering on a scouting report, but did you take more command of that than usual?
We did talk a little bit about things between innings, on how we wanted to not script things, but if this guy swings at this or takes it like this, we'll read his reaction. But here's probably where I'm going to go from there. And he's very vocal. Where Yadier and I will go into the dugout, and you know, I might say, "Hey, where was that pitch?" Or like, "Hey, what are you thinking here on the first pitch to this next guy?" And we might have a brief talk about it. But Kiz is very vocal. You know, he wants to. I think he's a really smart guy. He wants to kind of talk through everything and get plans going. And I've actually been appreciative of that because I'm very much a reader of swings, of takes. So there was several times today where he talked about it, and I was like, you know, it probably is good that I'm having a conversation about this now. And several times we had the first pitch of the inning scripted out, based off what they did the previous at bat, or based off what the at bats looked like in the inning before.
Adam, with that first game back, with that first game back in so long, what did that top of the first feel like with the 4-run inning?
Oh man, that was great. That was you know, huge hit by Dexter there. Couple guys extended that inning. You know, big hustle plays and running out. A couple of guys had hustled singles on infield singles today, but those 4 runs in the first, that was something that really, I think, put our whole team at ease a little bit. You know, like welcome back, because you know, you can think about it all you want to and prepare for it, but when you haven't played in weeks, you're never really sure about what's going to happen on the field once guys get on there. And our guys just did such a good job of making good swings against a very, very tough pitcher. And I'll tell you, that lineup over there is nasty dangerous. It is really deep. Lots of guys can go deep at any moment. Tons of power, lots of skill, lots of talent. So as pitchers, you know, we did a good job making pitches and holding that tough lineup in control, or keeping control of that tough lineup. And as our hitters just took great at bats. I mean, you know what Colton did the first at bat of the game, working that walk. That's kind of amazing when you think about it, fouling off pitches and working a tough walk when you haven't seen hitters or seen live pitching in weeks. That's pretty impressive. I was very impressed with some of our guys at bats today.
Adam, one of the results of this whole thing is a lot of moving parts behind you defensively. Dylan makes the nice sliding catch out and left. Tommy's playing short for the first time in the big leagues, has the big double play to get you out of the 5th. What does that show from your defense today? The guys can plug in after this gap and give you that kind of support.
Yeah. Well, it shows me that our guys have been staying ready. You know, even though we haven't had ideal situation for practice or things between games to get ready, you know, we haven't had a lot of scheduled workouts. Our guys have been doing whatever they needed to do on their own to be able to put themselves into the best possible place to make those plays. And I was very impressed with everything that happened today, honestly. Our guys just came out and played a clean baseball game, worked the pitcher, faced a very tough pitcher, worked the pitcher, worked at bats, got clutch hits when they needed to. Bullpen came in after me and just did a fantastic job. Besides me, nobody was out there walking a bunch of people. So it was very good to see with those guys out there.
Adam, could you tell, the tightening of protocols today as opposed to the last time you guys played? And if so, what was the biggest difference among you guys? What'd you have to do a little bit better this time around, or whatever you want to call it?
It's tighter for sure. I mean, I would say that the biggest change was not having as many people in the dugout. The last game we played was in Minnesota, right? And we started to realize that there was no room if you're going to do the 6 feet apart thing. Normal bullpen or normal dugout rules couldn't apply anymore. So then we had guys sitting 6 feet apart in the clubhouse too. But, then all of a sudden now you've got a bunch of guys inside. So that's not good either. So I think this whole thing is a game of adjustments. Obviously we had to tighten the ship a lot. But guys were trying to do the right thing before. We sat inside during the game trying to stay out of the dugout. Everybody had their masks on and, use hand sanitizer stuff. But unfortunately, this thing is very contagious. It's easy to pass. So there's no touching at all. Nobody all day long has touched anybody else. I mean, maybe a trainer will get you ready in your pregame because he has to. But other than that, no touching at all, no handshakes, no high fives, no fist pumps, not even with batting gloves on, nothing from what I could tell. Today after the game when the whole team was coming up the stairs, I did like the bow to everybody that came in. So we're making adjustments as we need to and probably not done making adjustments yet. I'm doing a Zoom
Is that
call.
also kind of an homage to your former teammate So Taguchi?
Say that again.
Was the bow possibly also an homage to your former teammate So Taguchi?
Could be. I used to bow with So, but also with Sungwon Oh and also with KK and Craig. So, and Tommy Edman occasionally. So,
Adam, was there an emphasis then on being a bit more vocal then? I mean, especially as that first inning kind of unroll on spools for you guys. You can't slap fives, you can't greet them at home plate. Was there a sense of being more vocal?
We're always pretty vocal. I mean, you might hear more now because there's not as many fans in the stands, but we're always pretty vocal. There was more air fives. Carp came in instead of doing high fives, whatever. He just kind of looked down the dugout and was like, "All right, see ya." But that's the name of the game right now. We're trying to follow protocol.
Thank you.
Adam, after experiencing the seven inning doubleheaders, you guys have so many of them. Do you think it'll be as daunting as maybe it looks on paper, given how quickly these games might go?
I don't think we have any idea what this is going to be like. And I think we're just going to try to keep our head down and stay in the moment. And hopefully the end of it will sneak up on us. But I expect it'll be pretty tough, for some of our regular players who are going to play every day, I expect it to be pretty tough, but we can't give in to that. So our guys are going to be mentally sharp. We're going to, myself and Yachty and Goldie will continue to send out stuff to keep guys mentally sharp and we'll just do the best we can. Nobody really knows, Tyler. I mean, we can plan on stuff or we can think of, but nobody's ever done what we're fixing to have to do. So we'll see.
Does that challenge, I mean, whoever wins the World Series this year, 60 games or not, players and teams have faced more challenges this year than ever. I mean, like, what you're going for a championship, but what is this year's going to signify to you, especially with what the Cardinals have had to go through?
Well, there's going to be, I think, just with everything that's going on, whoever wins the World Series this year, hopefully it's us, whoever wins, I think there's going to be a real sense of accomplishment there. I certainly don't feel like any players will feel like there should be an asterisk next to anything. You know, we're working hard. We're doing everything that we can possibly do to be ready to play. What we're about to have to go through, if we endure and win this thing, it's going to be a really special story. So that's kind of how we're looking at it.
Thanks, man. Good to see you back.
Thanks.
Adam, have you ever driven yourself to an away game, or would that have been in Atlanta the last time you would have done something like that?
Never driven myself to an away game. Nope. Because on days I'm pitching, I'm not traditionally until today, not a big conversation type guy. So I would take an Uber or a taxi and with headphones on and film in my lap or whatever. So I don't think I've ever driven myself to an away game. 2000 in Danville, Virginia, I drove from Gulf Coast, Orlando, and I drove up to Danville, Virginia to pitch in my first Danville start, Appalachian League. Got there about an hour and a half before the game and pitched really great. It was good.